Welcome to Bears After Dark. Another huge week. We made it past the Packers. Whether it was a nail biter, cardiac bears, or not, we made it. We have another week to talk about and hopefully many more. I do think that this week is going to be one of our biggest tests we've had yet. If you have seen my previous episodes, the whole time I've talked about the team that scares me the most is the Rams. Have a veteran quarterback, a great wide receiver duo. They have three great tight ends. So at any team I'm nervous to play, it's this team. But on the contrary, if we can beat this team, we can compete with any other team. I think we could take either the team that comes out of the other and play in the championship round, the NFC championship round. That would either be the Seahawks or the 49ers. I think we could, if we beat the Rams, I think we could play either of those teams right up there. So getting into it, I think we're just going to talk about the overall game. This is what this is for, Rams versus Bears. We're going to talk about the overview on the whole game. I think we've talked about it all year long. We need to set the tone. Set the tone early because in the last game against the Packers, they set the tone and Soldier Field was quiet. I mean, you could hear a pen drop, and we can't have that. We played home field. We played for home field for a reason, so we need to take advantage of that advantage in that. Because at the end of the Packers-Bears game, it was the loudest Soldier Field has ever been. We at least need to start faster in the first half. And when I say that, I'm not saying we need to be up 21-3. I'm just saying we don't need to be down by more than 2 touchdowns. If we can walk into halftime by either up 7, down 7, I think we have more than enough chance. We're a second-half team. There's no getting around that. We always play better in the second half, make great second half adjustments. So a huge key to victory is just keeping the game close going into halftime. This season, it just feels different. I don't want to be, it's been talked about a lot, but we do have the Pope coming from Chicago, so he could have a huge impact on that. But just overall, it just feels different. I mean, we were down 21-3. What other team comes back from that? Biggest comeback in Bears playoff history. No other team comes back from that. It is a team of destiny, and that's why later on we're going to get into my game predictions. This team is built to win now. And I only have to say one thing. You have a QB with a clutch factor. And in the playoffs, you need that. Look at every team. You have Brock Purdy, you have Sam Darnold, you have Matthew Stafford, and Caleb. In order to get to this spot, you need a quarterback that can perform in clutch moments. And I am super confident in Caleb to do that in the fourth quarter at any time. Maybe not as much in the first quarter. If we could just convert a little bit of that fourth quarter energy in any of the other 3 quarters, we might be a lot better of a team. But we have a quarterback that's built to win. You have to give him that. He is ready to win those big games. This is the biggest game in Chicago Bears history, at least in the last 15 years. Easily, no question. The Packers game was huge, but this is just one upset now. Now it's a divisional round. Now we're 2 games away from the Super Bowl. This team doesn't flinch. Down 21-3, they didn't even blink an eye. Ben Johnson at halftime said, "This is going to make history. This is going to be the biggest comeback we have ever had." And you know, you lived up to that, Ben. Because if you would have went down like that and just given up, it would have looked terrible on you, just as a coach. Now there would have been questions about big moments because we won all regular season, had a great regular season, and if we just came in the playoffs and just fell over and let the Packers do that, it wouldn't have looked good, Ben. But you came back, you made adjustments, and we performed. Now the whole narrative is different. We would have been talking about problems with Caleb, problems with the coaching staff, just went down the whole list. But you can't really talk about that after you get a win like that. So I can confidently say this team is just different. They don't flinch, no matter what. And that's why it goes back to, if we can just keep the game close going into the second half, I really think we could have a chance. All right, let's get into the Rams overview. Keys to success with the Rams and Matthew Stafford. We need to get pressure. He has 1 rushing yard on the entire year. So if we can make him uncomfortable in the pocket and off rhythm, that's how we win right there. Matthew, in the Panthers game, finished very strong. But in the middle of that was very shaky. He finished 24 for 42, 304 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, which sounds fantastic, but there was some parts that they missed, huge moments. Yes, Puka had a drop, but I really think Matthew has not been on his game. So there's no better time to play the Rams than this time. And obviously, maybe after that close game, they fix some stuff up. But earlier in the season, I would not want to play them. The first half of the season, they were playing incredible. I think one of the best teams in the NFL. Their top weapons, Puka, every week he's making a spectacular catch that goes on ESPN highlight. Jalen, we're really going to need you this week. I am absolutely terrified to play that duo of Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua. Did you see what the Packers are doing with Matthew Golden, Romeo Doubs? Well, we just went up tenfold, and now our secondary has to guard them. So, good luck to them. We should have C.J. Gardner-Johnson back. Hopefully it makes a difference. Kyler needs to be on a little bit of a snap count. We've seen that last game. Just not fully healthy, you can definitely tell. So hopefully with them, we can make some packages with Dennis Allen. Maybe blitz a little more, because it goes back to getting Matthew Stafford off rhythm. If he sits back there all day, he's going to pick us apart. Puka's going to get open, and even if he's not open, you can throw a 50-50 ball, and it's more like a 70-30 ball. He's more likely to come down with that than not. Our secondary is going to have nightmares of this duo. I personally would. It's going to be a high-scoring game. We'll talk about the Rams' defense, but there is some exploitable parts. With the same of our defense, there's definitely some parts you can exploit. I think one of the positives we can take away from our defense against the Packers, we held Josh Jacobs very well. Josh Jacobs was 20 carries for 86 yards. Now, 86 yards is a lot, but if you break the carries down, a long of 21, so he broke one and went really well. You take that away, it's like 60 yards, 20 carries for 60 yards. So our defensive line did very well against that because they do have two great running backs in Blake Corum and Kyron Williams. So if we can at least just force them to have to pass the ball and maybe cover at all, have anyone in the area, unlike last time where players were just running wide open every single time through the middle, especially on third down. But I think we have a great chance to at least slow their run down and force them to pass and maybe just hope we can get interception, get a fumble, get some takeaway. The Rams' defense has not been up to par recently, especially. I think their defensive line hasn't got much pressure at all. Jared Verse has been very streaky. Sometimes he'll play very well. Other times you don't even know he's there. So I think Caleb should have enough time to sit back there, diagnose the field, and make good plays. Their secondary just has not played well. We're going to have a lot of mismatches now that we have Rome back, Luther, DJ Moore, not even to mention Colston Loveland. I think that is going to be one of our biggest X factors in this game. Who are you going to line him up against? A linebacker? Oh, well, he's faster than that. He's going to beat him, and his route running is too good, so he's going to get separation. Are you going to put him against a corner or a safety? Well, he's going to get 50-50 balls. Caleb is going to throw it at him. You know that in crucial moments. That has been his number one target. He just continues to get open. So I think Colston's going to have a huge game. He's going to need to. His last 3 games have been over 90 receiving yards against the 49ers, the Lions, and the Packers. The Packers, he had like 8 receptions, 139 yards. Went insane. So Caleb is going to keep feeding him. And if they want to double team Colston, well, Rome, DJ, Luther, one of them is going to get open. So we're going to have a lot of opportunities in this game. And that's why it goes back to it's going to be a high-scoring game. It's going to be like our 49ers game earlier in the year. Bad defenses, fantastic offenses. Now, going into our offense, we need to get the running game going. It has been very slow the last few weeks. It looks like it did at the beginning of the year. And Ben talked about it just then. It's just a few things. Just not in the same rhythm. So hopefully it's just an easy fix so we can go into this game. It's not like we forgot how to run it. But in January football at Soldier Field, you're going to need to establish the run and control time of possession in this game. You need to get the ball out of Matthew Stafford's hands. The more opportunities he has, the more chances they are going to score consistently. And that makes us have to pass consistently and get away from the run. So the earlier in the game we can establish the run and keep time of possession in our favor, the better the overall game is going to be against a veteran quarterback like that. I'm hoping that playing at Soldier Field, you're getting an LA team to fly out to Chicago, where it is going to be less than 32 with wind chill. It might be down to like 15 degrees. Huge advantage to us. Yes, Matthew Stafford has played for the Lions, so he's been up here, but a lot of the rest of them haven't. Wide receivers, defense. So if we can just run the ball and be physical, I think they're going to give up eventually. If we just dominate them in the trenches, that gives us a huge advantage throughout the game. This game could completely change the narrative for better or worse. Yes, we managed to come back on the Packers, but they gave us several opportunities. If we go in and can beat the Rams, that is a legit Super Bowl contender. I think it is hard to argue that the Packers are Super Bowl contenders without Micah Parsons. With Micah Parsons, people definitely had him wrote off. Without it, and it was still that close of a game, makes us look a little bit up and down. I would say not a lot of people have faith in the Bears right now. The line opened up at -4, so they are favored at our home. If we can pull this game off, there's no more doubts. There's no more questions about the Bears. We are a legit team. To talk about some X factors for the game, I had already mentioned Colston Loveland. I think it is going to be Colston and Rome coming back. He had some big-time catches last game. You had the 4th down. Other than that, he didn't do that much, but I think this is going to be a huge game for him. It is going to be a Colston and Rome party. I'm calling it now, but I think there's going to be massive plays down the field with Colston or Rome. They're going to have to pick one or the other and who they want to double, because one-on-one, they are both getting open 9 times out of 10 against the Rams secondary. They can't guard them. Whether it's a linebacker or secondary, they're going to have to double one, and the other's going to be open. Pick your poison. Our defensive X factor, 100% Jalen Johnson. You're going to have to try to slow Puka down as much as you can, because if Puka is allowed just to run free, he's going to be a nightmare for us, because he has been against every other team he's played. He is a top 5 receiver in the league, and we struggle against Matthew Golden, a rookie, and Romeo Doubs. And no hate on either of them, but they are not Puka Nacua or Devontae Adams. Now, to talk on special teams a little bit, I think this is where we could have a huge advantage. They had another recent punt blocked in the Panthers game. I think there's a lot of opportunities that we could have there. Our special teams, just speaking about Cairo, we were very good with our field goals. He made all of them, and even a 50-plus yarder. On our kick return or kickoff, we made Josh Jacobs fumbled. We didn't recover that, but I think there's going to be several moments in this game that we could exploit their special teams, and that could change the game completely if we can get one of those turnovers. Blocked field goal, blocked punt, any of those that we can change, get the momentum flipped. I think special teams is going to be a huge key to victory this game. They already had to fire their special teams coordinator, and then they still have these issues now. I think 100% we could take advantage of that. We'll get into some keys to victory. We need to win the turnover battle. The last game against the Packers, it is a fluke with that. If we're going over it, you had Caleb who threw 2 interceptions. I think we went for it on 4th down 6 times, so you can consider that a turnover on downs. The Packers had no turnovers, and we still won. So we went 0-6 in the turnover battle and won. That's unheard of. That's a complete fluke. We cannot risk that against them. They will take advantage of it all day long. Our defense has been turnover prone all year. We're going to need that now. And Caleb, we need you to take care of the ball. We can't be throwing it in harm's way and then giving the ball to Matthew Stafford. The least amount of possessions that he has in this game, the greater chance we have to win. It's as simple as that. Start fast. Back to what I said earlier. We need to keep it within 7 points going to the half. If we're up by 14, we just cannot be down by more than 7 points. More than 7 points, and I'm completely confident going into the second half against them. I think this is going to be a big test for Theo Benedict as well. Braxton Jones is coming off IR, so we will have him available as a swing tackle. If Theo does that bad, which I don't foresee, knock on wood, that our offensive line plays well. Because if Caleb has time back there against their secondary, he's going to pick them apart. And as back to that, Colston is going to have several opportunities this game. I'm predicting over 80 yards receiving. He's going to be everywhere. So just to break that down into 3 things that I think are our main keys to victory. Win the turnover battle, start faster, and protect the quarterback. You give Caleb time, It is going to be a completely different game. We keep the game close coming out of second half. We are going to run up the score and win the turnover battle. We need to give Matthew the least amount of possessions as possible. Let's get into the injury report. Bears injury report. We only had one did not practice. That's Nick McLeod with a groin injury. And I'll say at any week, this is the best week for him to miss because we'll get in it later. But C.J. Gardner-Johnson looked pretty well. We have DJ Moore, limited practice with a knee. I think he'll be good to play. Rome, limited with a foot. Jalen Reeves-Maben, limited with a back. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, from his concussion, he was a full participant today. So we'll have him available. Maybe get Kyler on some snap counts, which I think will help them both. Keep them both fresh throughout the game. Give us a lot better chance. Or we have packages with them both. I think they are both really well at blitzing. So that could be a great way we can exploit their offensive line. Braxton Jones, full participant. As I said, we can have him for a swing tackle. Him and Jalen Reeves-Maben already got elevated onto the 53-man roster because of the Ozzie Trapillo injury and the TJ Edwards. So they are both taking their spot. Amin Ogbogdemita, he was a full participant. Joe Tryon-Shoyinka was a full participant. So they're all good. We'll get in the Rams. They have Darius Williams. I think he's a backup corner. Did not practice. Game status unspecified. Other guard that I think missed last week, Kevin Dotson. He was a limited participant, so he'll most likely play. We have Poona Ford, limited with an elbow. And there's some stuff about Matthew with his wrist or finger. He is a full participant, so we'll just see how much it affects him. I already knew he was going to play, but it might bother him throughout the game. Xavier Smith, full participant. Josh Wallace, full. Terrence Ferguson. I was curious about that, see if he was going to be playing. He is a great tight end. He is a full participant. And Quentin Lake, full participant. So, I mean, honestly, both teams look pretty healthy. About as healthy as you're going to be this deep in the playoffs. We'll end this out with my final score predictions for the game. So I think it is going to be a high-scoring game. I think we have to score over 30 in order to win. If we're under 30, we are losing 9 times out of 10 this game. So I think my final score prediction for this game, I've went back and forth. I try to be as honest as I can. But I really think if we score 31 points, it'll be 31-28 in a shootout. Bears take the win. If we just keep the game close at half and we just run the ball and establish ourselves early, establish momentum early, and have the home crowd in it, I really think we can win. I just think there's something special about this team this year, and I just can't count them out. I really went back and forth. The Rams are a phenomenal team. They're easily a Super Bowl contender, one of the best ones out there in the AFC and NFC to make the Super Bowl. I bet they have up there with the best odds in the NFC at least. Final score, 31-28 though. I'm curious what y'all's opinion is. Let me know in the comments. If you wouldn't mind liking the video, share it, subscribe. We're on the path to 30 subscribers. Let's see if we can make that before Sunday night game. This is it. If you have a chance to go to the game, have fun, enjoy yourself. We don't know what next year is going to be like if we have home field advantage as we do this year. So show out. It's going to be very cold, but Bears fans travel.